On December 5, 2023, when we rendered the 2024 budget before this hallowed chamber, we came convinced of the huge social and economic potential of this state. Hence, our decision to set ambitious goals for ourselves from the onset. Today, having run this race now for about 17 months, we're more than ever convinced that we were not mistaken. We have seen enough to confirm our belief that our vision to grow Enugu's GDP from where we met it, $4.4 billion to $30 billion, is patently achievable. Yes, Enugu State can be one of the top 3 economic pillars of Nigeria, and no citizen of this state need suffer poverty or penury. It is this enthusiasm which has informed our budget for next year, which aims at ensuring that no geographical, social, or economic segment or sector of this great state is left behind. I am, as a result, deeply pleased to present to this August gathering of our esteemed House of Assembly today the multi-year budget of 2025 to 2027 as the second budget by my administration. We see this as a valuable opportunity to double down and consolidate upon the achievements made in our first year. In our view, nothing could better exemplify our commitment to the mandate Ndi Enugu gave us about 1.5 years ago than this annual event of accountability that is the budget speech. It is a responsibility we sought wholeheartedly and one we can only discharge with joy and appreciation. Over the last year, the Nigerian economy, which our state economy is inextricably linked to, experienced gross domestic product growth of has experienced gross domestic product growth of about 3.49% in the last quarter. This was a report that was just released yesterday. Other economic indicators have, however, maintained somewhat negative trends so far this year. Inflation has most recently hit 33.88%, and the Naira-dollar exchange rate is currently running at about 1,750 Naira to the US dollar. Related to this, the monetary policy rate, which drives the cost of money in the economy, have been most recently revised upwardly to 27.25%. While these negative trends may still be challenges to our overall economic growth, the improving GDP growth is perhaps a sign that the worst may be over and we are about to see more aggressive growth in the future. In Enugu, for our own part, we were able to largely meet our development targets. in the very important area of education, we were able to award for the development of all our smart green schools across the state. These schools are today at various stages of completion in 245 wards, while we're still seeking suitable sites for 15 urban schools due to the built-up nature of the wards where they are located. We envisage that all 260 of these schools will be completed, equipped, staffed, and ready for classes by the commencement of the new school year in September 2025. We have also made extensive investments in developing centers of experiential learning, where teachers will be trained and retrained to prepare them for the modern methods and facilities in use at the smart schools. We are also to provide senior secondary education to graduate from the smart schools. We are developing model secondary schools across the 17 local government areas of the state. We have also commenced work on the reconstruction of our technical schools across the state in recognition of the need to build a strong workforce of technical workers to support our ambitious development goals. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in the healthcare sector, we have commenced construction of 260 of Type 2 primary healthcare centers in each of the wards in the state. We have also commenced the completion of the Enugu International Hospital on Rangers Avenue in Independence Layout. This hospital, upon commissioning, will reverse the trend of indiscriminate medical tourism that has plagued our country by providing world-class medical services using cutting-edge medical equipment, such as we typically travel to the east and west to find. We have also recently re-equipped and commissioned 3 Type 3 primary health centers in Adani, Uzowani local government area, Abogugu, Ogu local government area, and Nara and Kano East local government area. These are the highest level of facilities in the primary healthcare space, ranking just below the full scale of a general hospital. With the new standard of facilities we have just installed in these hospitals, they will be able to provide surgical services, initial kidney and cardiac care, as well as highest level of gynecology and obstetric care to our expecting mothers across the states. At the tertiary level, we are expanding the facility at the Park Lane Teaching Hospital with the construction of 2 blocks of high-rise buildings. One will provide additional office spaces and accommodation for the students, while the other will house medical services department. In the power sector, we have finally commenced our journey towards building an independent power grid for Enugu State, with the effective handover of regulatory powers by the National Electricity Regulatory Commission to our own regulator, the Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission. In line with this, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company has now incorporated and licensed a new vehicle, Main Power Limited, to manage the distribution of power in Enugu State. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the company for the deep sense of partnership they've displayed throughout this transition period. We look forward to continuing to work with them to evolve a power sector in Enugu that will be the envy of the entire country. Very early in our journey as an administration, we identified security as a fundamental to the achievement of our governance vision and established the Distress Response Squad. We have not wavered from that position in the slightest. So in the course of 2024, we have built up arguably the most extensive camera network using artificial intelligence enabled cameras to cover all areas of the state, as well as completed the construction and equipment of a world-class command and control center, from where we are able to monitor all parts of the state and track criminal elements to facilitate their arrest and prosecution. We have also procured over 100 patrol vehicles mounted with wide range of artificial intelligence enabled street cameras to boost the operation of the DRS, the Distress Response Squad, as well as procuring over 500 communication radios, helmets, and body cameras for personnel. These additions are billed for ceremonial launch in the coming weeks. Enugu State is already very uncomfortable for criminal elements. But with this imminent enhancement to our security network, I can only say to Ndi Enugu, the best is yet to come. Our campaign to build or enhance up to Enugu's roads has continued to build steam. We have expanded the scope of our roads from the initial 90 urban and interurban roads by awarding another additional 141 urban and 20 gateway roads. These roads include the urban roads which cover all the zones in the state, such as Independence Layout, Emene, Thinkers Corner, Transekulu, Coal Camp, Eva Valley, Abapa, and all the rest of the zone. What we've done essentially is to zone the entire state. Our objective here is that the entire roads in the city would be paved. So we're not leaving any road behind or left, no road will be left out. So if you look at the list of the roads, we have largely scoped all the roads in the metropolis, and by the time we're done with the 141, we'll be left with about 150 roads unpaved, and the objective is that all the roads in the city would be paved. We are also, of course, addressing aggressively our interurban roads. For example, the cross-country roads and the gateway roads, such as the Aba-Nike, Ubogo-Nike, Upin-Soka road, which we're converting into an ultra-modern dual carriage way. And then, of course, the statewide ring road network connecting Ama, Iwolo, Umulopa, Adani, Nsukka, Ibawa, Ugurute, Ete. So we're going to be obviously working on those roads. So if you are from Ama, you're going to Nsukka, you actually don't need to come into the city. You can do a ring all the way from Ama to Nsukka. So we're working on all those sections of the road. In the transport sector, we are on the verge of commissioning our 4 ultra-modern transport terminals in Holy Ghost, Abapa, Garki, and Nsukka. These terminals are expected to be commissioned by December 22 this year. We're also on the verge of launching Air Enugu. Enugu Air, the airline. This airline will be launched in a few weeks' time. It is our hope that our brothers and sisters coming back for Christmas, many of them will be flying by air. Many of them will be flying by our own Enugu Air. In the same vein, we have completed all payments and are awaiting the arrival of over 200 dual fuel buses, diesel and CNG. These are high capacity urban mass transit buses. These include 50 which were formerly in a state of disrepair, and we have entered an agreement with Anamco to refurbish. In our view, this particular element of our transportation intervention bears some emphasis. Beyond expanding our fleet of modern city buses, it supports domestic industry and helps boost high-quality job creation in the state. It aligns with our strategy to introduce a new and more organized transport system, which will enhance the ease of movement across the city. In the area of tourism development, we're poised to finally commission the Enugu International Conference Center. And very soon thereafter, the Presidential Hotel. We have also flagged off the construction of the new over 300-room 5-star international conference hotel adjacent to the conference center to stimulate tourism within the state and complement these initiatives. We are developing a number of tourism sites in the state, including 5 sites, namely the magical Milliken Hill theme park, on which our development partners are currently working on. The Ohum waterfalls and cross, the Insude pyramids, and the Ngwo pine forest, where we will be installing a zipline system. In addition, we will be developing 5 urban recreation parks within Enugu City to enrich the leisure options available to residents and visitors. We have also backed our commitment to agriculture by commencing our journey towards the mechanization of farming in the state with the acquisition of 275 horsepower Danish-made tractors. These are the first batch of a fleet which will ultimately get to 1,000 units. They will be available for use across the state through a tractor leasing company, which we will be activating or reactivating shortly. We have also taken major steps in the area of reactivating our government-owned enterprises in the state, either by attracting private investment to activate them or by directly funding their reactivation. Some of these entities include the United Palm Products Limited, where we have attracted over 100 billion naira in private investments. Niger Gas, where we are intervening directly as government, and by first quarter of next year, Niger Gas will become operational. Sunrise Flour Mills, where an investor is injecting over 40 billion naira. And of course, we have a tractor leasing company and so on. We have also initiated an investment in the establishment of DNA Learning Center in the state, which will provide cutting-edge DNA and forensic services, as well as research services, making our state a major national hub in the area of life sciences. In terms of budgetary performance, the total revenue realized in the state as at October 2024 came to 459 billion 851 million 309,396 naira 47 kobo. This comes to a budget performance of 88%. Of this amount, 178 billion 354 million 494,502 naira 47 kobo is related to statutory receipts, while 136 billion 700 million is related to capital receipts, and 144 billion 796 million 814,894 naira is related to internally generated revenue. So as at October, these inflows have been applied to expenditure with 382 billion 427 million 929,564 naira as capital expenditure, and 76 billion 546,090,116 naira 18 kobo as recurrent expenditure. This translated to a budget performance of 88%. Additionally, as at October, we have been able to grow our internally generated revenue to 286% from 37 billion in 2023. By October, we have recorded 144 billion. But we're not done yet. Additional revenues and expenditures are still expected before the end of the year, with IGR envisaged to surpass the 200 billion mark. While we may make bold to say that our progress in this past year is commendable, given the odds that were arraigned against the state economy, we're not yet ready to rest on our oars. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great enthusiasm and pleasure that I present to you our budget of 2025, tagged Exponential Growth and Inclusive Prosperity. In crafting this budget, we have sought to continue to lay the right foundation in Enugu to enhance the economy and attract even more private investment. In spite of the dreary economic environment across the country, for us here in Enugu, we have elected to remain bullish in our aspiration and to double down on our commitment to elevate our state to the top 3 status in terms of GDP nationally and eradicate poverty from our midst. Indeed, we see this as a vindication of our previously espoused view that sustainable national growth can only be driven from the sub-national units to the federal levels and not the other way round, as we have attempted to do to date. It is on account of this that we are proposing to the House of Assembly today a budget with a total envelope of 971 billion 84 million. As against the budget for 2024 fiscal year, which totaled 521 billion 556 million 386,000. This represents an 86.4% increase from the 2024 reordered budget. The budget is broken down as follows. Recurrent expenditure, 133 billion 140 million. Capital expenditure, 837 billion 944 million, totaling 971 billion 84 million. Revenue of 559 billion 39 million, which is thus transferred to the Capital Development Fund. The total capital expenditure for the year 2025 is projected at 837 billion 944 million, as against the 414 billion for the 2024 revised budget. The current capital expenditure estimates will be funded from the sum of 559 billion 39 million to be transferred from the Consolidated Revenue Fund and a capital receipt of 278 billion 905 million to be realized as follows. External and internal aids and grants, 15 billion 200 million. Other capital receipts, 80 billion 202 million naira. Domestic loans, 55 billion naira. Multilateral institution loans, 128 billion 503 million, giving a total of 278 billion 905 million naira. On a sectoral basis, the capital expenditure is broken down as follows. Administration sector, 26 billion 873 million 613,000 naira. Economic sector, 462 billion 68 million 808,000 naira. Law and justice sector, 1 billion 660 million 448,000 naira. Regional sector, 1 billion 554 million 350,000 naira. Social sector, 345 billion 786 million 781,000 naira. To throw more light on the specifics of our fiscal plans for 2025, I will spend some time to unpack the capital expenditure outlined above. In the area of our revenues, we estimated that total recurrent revenues during 2025 will amount to 692 billion 179 million naira, as against the approved revised provision of 383 billion in 2024. The current revenues for 2025 are broken down as follows. Opening balance, 32 billion. Internally generated revenue, 509 billion 947 million naira. Statutory revenue, 48 billion 749 million naira. Exchange rate differential, 26 billion 559 million naira. Value added tax 74 billion 924 million naira, giving us a total recurrent revenue of 692 billion 179 million naira. For 2025 fiscal year, recurrent expenditure, which is proposed at 133 billion 140 million naira. By the way, it's again doubling down. This constitutes 14% of our total budget envelope. Last year we had 21%, but as we've always committed to running a lean and agile government. Personnel costs 58 billion 124 million. Overhead costs 53 billion 936 million. Consolidated revenue fund charges 21 billion 80 million naira, giving a total recurrent expenditure of 134 billion 140 million naira. With the total recurrent expenditure of 133 billion 140 million naira, this translates to a net recurrent revenue the net recurrent revenue we have here would give us a net recurrent revenue of about 559 billion 39 million naira. So we're going to move directly into unpacking some of our capital expenditure. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as you may already have known, education is for us both sword and shield. In this battle to achieve economic growth in our states and banish poverty and want among our population. Consequently, we are maintaining the ambitious direction we charted in 2024 by voting a whopping 320 billion 609 million 59,000 naira for the education sector. Again, this represents 78% of the social services sector of the budget and 33.2% of our total capital expenditure this year. These funds will be applied towards the completion, equipping, and staffing of our 260 smart green basic schools in readiness to commence in the third quarter of 2025. We will also be executing our model senior secondary schools in the 17 local government areas, as well as rebuilding and re-equipping the government technical schools across the state. Finally, We will also be boosting the capacity of our tertiary schools by enriching their curricula and pedagogy to convert them to experiential teaching. There can be no economic growth without quality healthcare. Not only because economic growth requires a healthy workforce, but also because private investment requires a conducive environment with quality medical and related services. This is why we are spending 45 billion 830 million 896,000 naira on the health sector this year. This will go towards the completion of our new international hospital, as well as the construction, re-equipping, and staffing of the entire healthcare value from our new 260 Type 2 primary healthcare centers to the 22 new cottage hospitals and the various general hospitals across the state slated for renovation, refurbishment, and re-equipment. In the area of works and infrastructure, we will continue our relentless advance towards our target to build or refurbish all key roads across the state by 2031. In line with this, we will spend a total of 213 billion 120 million 267,000 naira in 2025. Prominent among the projects in this envelope are, of course, the completion of the first phases of the new Enugu city, for which sales are expected to commence early next year. The completion of our 5-star ICC hotel, the dualization of Apapa-Upinsuka Road, the dualization of the airport to Eboimboda Road, the completion of the Amankanu Iken Neke Road, which will open up the eastern flanks of the state to economic development, and many other roads and infrastructure projects such as the Odumanome, the Umuabi Ehuchi Achi, with sport to Abogudu Ihe, Oweli, Ogugu. The list here is basically endless. If I begin, suffices it to note that our development model is an inclusive economic growth. It is one that takes into account the entire state. So no section of the state is left out. So I'm sure the figure 260 is become it's become a tagline, or perhaps even a mantra in our state now. But that number is not plucked from the blue. It speaks to the electoral wards in the state. So when we talk about education, it's all inclusive. We talk about healthcare, it's all inclusive. We talk about the farm estate, again, all inclusive. So we're looking at addressing our weakest points. So so the farm estate, for example, is designed to kick out poverty from Enugu State. The floor is 200 hectares in each ward, but we could have a cap of as much as 1,000 hectares where the land is available. So we're taking agriculture, working with our smallholder farmers, scaling agriculture to an industrial level, where we can enhance the capacity of our smallholder farmers while we still attract the commercial farmers who want to farm on thousands of hectares. Again, an all-inclusive governance strategy. And that's the same thing happening in the infrastructure space. The roads are all connected, and we're dealing with them across the three senatorial zones of our state. We kicked off our entry into government in 2023 with a daring achievement in the water sector. But our work in that area is far from done. That is why we plan to spend another 23 billion 223 million 150,000 naira on this sector this year. This spend will be towards the completion of the second transmission line from 9 Mile to New Market to Intown. As some of you may know already, even though we have the capacity to generate 120 million liters, the transmission line we have today is only able to take 60 million at a time. So we're basically doing a second transmission line so we can transport from the production location to the storage location. So that's essentially what we're going to be spending this money to enhance our transmission into the storage facilities. And of course, the refurbishment of a number of secondary lines to carry water into a number of zones which are yet to get reliable water supplies. There are quite a number of our secondary lines that are still asbestos pipes, so we're going to have to continue to replace those ACPs, and then of course ensure that we expand the network to, we're dealing with a master plan of water network that was designed over 50 years ago. And so new layouts have been built, so there's need to expand the network. So we're going to also be investing in the expansion of our secondary line network. We will also be commencing work on the scheme for the Nsukka metropolis, as well as a number of other small rural water schemes across the state. Food inflation is a major component of core inflation in Nigeria. Consequently, food production is critical to moderation of the currently high levels of inflation in the country. As a result, we will be spending up to 82 billion in the agriculture and agro-industrialization sector this year. Among other things, this amount will serve to fund the procurement of tractors for the use in the state, most of which will come from the local assembly plant of the Danish investors who were established within the state earlier this year. In addition to this, we will be launching our new modern farm estate projects across the state. By the way, this farm estates is one that, first of all, is going to be ring-fenced so that we have all our smallholder farmers in one location where we will parcellate lands and allocate to them. The idea of having them in one location, ring-fenced, is so that we can eliminate the challenges they have with herders moving in with their cattle or destroyed, because it's ring-fenced, then there will be access control. And then we're going to have also common facilities. We're going to eliminate the post-harvest losses because we're going to build silos, have warehouses, and then we're going to have modular processing facilities, because we'll produce both for food and also for export. So we're going to have value add mechanism in each of the clusters. So we're going to have that across the 260 wards again in the state. Again, this project will entail the marking of, as I said, a minimum, so it's not the cap. 200 hectares is the floor, is the minimum for us. It could go as I said, as much as 1,000 hectares of land in each of the 260 wards. And I know some of you from the urban local government will be wondering, where will you find 200 hectares? We've already thought about that, and we have plans for that. So for those smallholder farmers, the local government that is already urbanized, where we can't find enough land, we're going to have a common center where we're going to obviously clear the land and provide for them. For example, Enugu North, we may have to find Enugu North a place in Enugu. It's the farmers there, okay, where we have land, the closest location where there is availability of land. So it will entail the marking of 200 hectares of land in each of the 260 wards in the state for the cultivation of staples and cash crops such as cassava, soybean, maize, pepper, vegetable, and so on. Government will collaborate with the various local governments to provide access to improved farming inputs, extension services, storage to help manage post-harvest losses. We'll also work with the program leadership to ensure improved access to market, to assure the farmers of their just rewards for work done. We will also be collaborating with development partners to establish special agro-processing zone projects together with 3 complementary agro-transformation centers in the state. In the area of transportation, we'll be spending a total of 41 billion 132,463,000, again to expand Enugu Air with the acquisition of additional aircrafts. In addition, we would also be consummating the concessioning of the Akani International Airport, as well as the construction of an international cargo terminal. We will be floating a new taxi scheme in collaboration with private sector to modernize urban and interurban transportation for Ndi Enugu. Other areas of the government activities which will continue to benefit from our focused activities during the year will be the security sector, where we will continue to boost the capacity of our security agencies, both federal and state, with enhanced training and equipment. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we will also invest additional and considerable time and resources towards boosting our capacity to collect internally generated revenues by redoubling our efforts to digitize various elements of revenue collection. In this light, in the next few weeks, we should be commissioning the offices of the new Enugu Geographical Information System, which will provide more efficient and effective digital land services to Ndi Enugu. It is expected that once operational, you can, at the comfort of your home, conduct your searches. You can also initiate the application for your title documents from the comfort of your home. We expect that the processing for your CFO will commence and be completed maximum within 72 hours. That's the target. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as you may be aware, we have been awarded the hosting rights for the National Sports Festival in 2026. Consequently, we will be spending over 13 billion naira in upgrading our stadia and game facilities, including the N971bn Stadium, where we will include aquatic sports facilities and the Obo Games Village, which will be fully revamped. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me once again seize this opportunity to recognize and commend your tireless and unwavering commitment to the support of our administration. It is only right to mention that the progress we have made in the course of 2024 is due in no small measure to the spirit and understanding you have shown in working with our executive. We appreciate this and we do not in any way take this for granted. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to close by noting that this our budget of exponential growth and inclusive prosperity is engineered to deliver access to quality learning for our kids. We expect that the investment we're making in our children today, we're going to ultimately be the beneficiary for it 10, 15, 20 years to come. It is imperative, given the speed at which the lay of the land is shifting, if we must get our children prepared to be relevant in the workplace of tomorrow, we must, by design, it will not be just by a wishful thinking. By design, we must imbue them with those skills necessary for the workplace of tomorrow. And we're talking about skills like robotics, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, mechatronics, all those skills that we require to be able to ensure that our children are part of the emerging story of the new world order. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, to deliver more job for Ndi Enugu is also part of what this exponential growth budget has been designed to do. We hereby enjoin all residents of the state to continue to accompany us on this journey towards Enugu's greatness and a return to our historical preeminence. I am convinced that with you all backing us wholeheartedly, there is no mountain too high for us to surmount. Thank you all, and God bless you. I wish you all the best for the remaining year.